This podcast is brought to you by Fandom Spotlight. Check us out at fandomspotlight.com. Have fun and follow your fandom.
Anime, we have your attention please, and welcome to a special episode of Dragon Ball FO Life. You know who Matt and Trav are, so we're not gonna go too deep into our intros. You know, Bro G did the Prince of All saying A Sharp, Troto, Trav. You already know who
all
we are.
The aliases.
But we have another special episode, all the aliases, because we have a brave contender, and that will make sense when we get later on, that decided to answer the Dragon Call. We are on with a very special guest, a very prominent tattoo artist in the greater Philadelphia area. David, I'm not going to give him your last name, so we just going to call him David StayDrawlin. That's StayDrawlin. How are you doing today, good sir?
Fantastic. It is a good day.
It's a pleasure to have you on, man. How'd you come up with StayDrawlin with that handle?
I guess I'm just kind of like messing around and just trying to find a better at for my art page. I had an art page prior to tattooing and everything, but I couldn't have it was just Martinez 215, and I was like, that's lame. By the way, that's my last name, Martinez.
Well, now they know.
Definitely not a secret, but it was just like a funny little name that I came up with. And since it had like a double entendre, it just stuck. And now I can't I'm not gonna get rid of
language.
One of Matt's favorite phrases, always say double entendre. Don't ask me how.
Oh yeah,
double entendre. Don't ask me how.
For those that don't know, drawlin is a word in Philly, like a slang in Philly, that it's just like attracting negative attention. So if you catch somebody kind of like goofing off in the streets or something, like that person's drawling. And so same thing with drawlin. I mean, you could just say that's drawing, just with bad, vernacular. So.
I love the fact that you have a definition, because like if you ask people in Philly, like, yo, what's drawing mean? They'll just be like, that means you drawing. Like, they'll use the word in the definition. Like if you drawing, you drawing. But I've never heard anyone actually give it a definition, and I like it. I'm rolling.
We appreciate it because we have people listening who are based outside of Philly and Jersey, so like they're gonna see that. And
our one Canadian listener.
What does that mean? Y'all always say that. I remember when I went to Pitt, and all my friends from Philly were just saying stuff like, yo, I swear y'all talking a different language sometimes. It's like, well,
bro, Pittsburgh slang, no disrespect to Pitt and your alma maters, but their slang's the worst.
It's ugly.
It's the worst.
Yins and pop and
yins, pop,
Don.
I can't do it.
So sometimes I'll get approached with people like asking like, why did I misspell drawing? Like, what's the point? And so I have to go down, because I have to travel a lot for conventions and stuff. Mm-hmm. And so I have to go down this whole list of, not list, but just explaining what drawing means for people in Philly. And then they're just like, okay, I approve. It makes sense.
You got the write-up, you got the card when people ask, like, here, man. Just
actually on one of my highlights, I have it explained.
Just save yourself the trouble.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
You got it memorized to the point now where you're just like, you know what, here's my card, and you know what, the back is a definition.
Actually, that's not a bad idea. To have a business card, man, that's a great idea.
Yeah, see? There you go.
Look, for production, we gonna bleep that part out so no one steals it from you, bro. That's all you. That's all you.
I have to send y'all a text.
Now I'm gonna need a copy so I can get that laminated and be like, yo, this is this.
We did that.
Absolutely.
But no, for anyone that is listening now that is wondering, David is, a tattoo artist, and also we also are very excited to have you on because, just looking at your different designs and everything, a lot seem anime inspired, and obviously us being Dragon Ball for life, our gateway into anime was Dragon Ball. And so, but obviously it's not limited to that, but obviously we always like to, let's do it differently this time, Matt. Let's start off with a fun question. What would you say was your gateway anime experience? It could be a show, it could be a style that you saw in a video game or something or whatever. But yeah, what was your gateway into this realm? I
think anime has been around like for most of my life. I would say that the very first anime that I really got into was Pokemon. Mm-hmm. And actually, that was the first ever like serious drawing that I ever made, and I owe most of my drawing career to anime. Because after Pokemon, it was Dragon Ball Z, and then Dragon Ball Z was just like we had like hordes of kids just competing on who could draw Goku best and stuff like that. So yeah, man, I remember. I was like 7 years old, and my brothers are way older than me. Mm-hmm. My brothers, they were just like sitting down in front of a TV, in front of a VHS, basically, paused with Pikachu. I don't know if you ever remember Pikachu fought Raichu in like that. That's I think in the first round.
LT Surge. That was his second gym battle.
I remember he lost that first gym battle, and then he went into the next one all pumped up, like ready to rumble. And he had I think it was like the finishing move where he was like doing a thunder attack. My brothers had like paused the VHS on that. I'm just like, what are y'all doing? Like, watch the show. I'm like 7 years old. I'm coming into my house and I see my brothers like just like planted in front of the TV. I thought they were like joking. So I had no idea. Now, mind you, I was like 6 years younger than the youngest after me. Mm-hmm. So I was never playing with them. I was never like, hanging out with them or anything like that. As a matter of fact, I was like the one that was getting picked on and bullied on all the time. And so they're like drawing in front of the TV, and I'm like, I don't get it. I don't know what they're doing. And so I asked them, I get curious, and they're like, yeah, pull up a chair, grab a pencil, grab a piece of paper, and they allowed me to join their little circle. And I'm just like,
and as
weird.
As
right?
a kid, you're probably like, oh shit, I'm being let in the inner circle.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That was a big deal to me. And so Pikachu was my first real drawing, and from there on, I never stopped again because like kind of drawing allowed me to be something a little bit more than what I actually am. So I was, just a kid, just a 7-year-old that just kind of hung up by himself and whatever. And then people that were beyond me at that point, because that's how kids think, it's just like a big level that you can't reach.
Hell yeah.
And something beyond me allowed me to be in, and that was through art. And I think that has been like a motivation that has guided me throughout my whole life, where art kind of like opens these doors that normally are closed outside of that.
I love that, bro, because I have 6 older brothers, but like all my brothers, they're like a minimum of 10 years older than me and up. Yeah. Like I'm 31, my next brother up's 41, and like my oldest brother's 50. Mm-hmm. So like you, I was like tag along Todd. Like I kind of had to like get in where I got in, like, hey, can I hang out with y'all now? Like, can I hang out with y'all now? And this, then the third. So that's crazy that you said that, because it's like, because when I was younger and like they were like forced to babysit and they didn't want to hang around me all the time, they would just like sit me in front of a TV. And like, that's like where my love for like entertainment and public speaking and like performing like came from. Cause it's like I like the kids on television, those were like who I grew up with, like Rocket Power and Wild Thornberrys, Rugrats. Those was like my homies, because my brothers was off doing teenage stuff when I was a little kid. Exactly. So that's crazy, the parallel. Like you was just saying, like they brought you in, they showed you something, and that like helped you formulate what you wanted to do with your life.
And are they all artists as well, or?
I'm sorry.
Are all your brothers artists as well?
They kind of stopped. They stopped it in the tracks. Like I think I had it in my mind that I was like, one day I'm going to be better than you. Because what they were doing, they were competing to see who could draw Pikachu best. And so that, like, the competition DNA was flowing through me heavy. Cause as a kid, I'm looking at you, like, 6, 7 years older than me. So I'm thinking to myself, like, I'm gonna. This is like a long-term thing. I'm going to be better than
the very best.
Yeah. I'm going to be I'm going to beat you at your own game. Like, you gave me.
You feel me?
Yeah. Like, you gave me the tools, and now I'm going to use it to become better. And eventually, they kind of like stopped drawing. They let it fall through. I don't think they know how much that meant to me. I have no idea that they remember that day.
Or did they see some of like your art and were like, oh, we're not fucking with David no more. All right.
I think I was
the
like
artist of the family now.
Exactly. It was like I was
Pokemon Master. We out.
Happened, yeah. And I remember exactly how, because my brother had asked me, like, how do you even do that with noses? It's just like, like the realistic like noses that I just realism artists do. But he was confused as to how that works. I was like, oh, I get it. I finally got to the level where now I'm the person that's like teaching. You know what I mean?
You said big dog on the yard.
Yeah, it was a wild time. 7 years journey just to get that.
So random on topic question, because you just said something that I've always noticed. Like, I'm not the best drawer in the world. Like, so I could like look at something, like copy it, like sketch it, but like I couldn't come up with nothing like by myself or anything like that if I don't have like a template to work off of. So you had said something about noses. You as an artist, why do people struggle with drawing noses? Because I know that's like a hard thing for a lot of people.
That's because there's no lines. I mean, there's like dots and like shading, but there's no real lines. If you wanted to like maybe create a line here, you could possibly get away with that. But what most people want to do is there's a very like defined outline on the nose. So what they want to do is want to put that in front of the face. And so our brains want to do something, but our eyes see something else in reality. So once you discover what shading is, then you really don't have a difficult time, because it's just shapes, but without enclosing it in a two-dimensional just line. It's just a shape.
I love
people don't think about it like that.
Yeah.
No, that's facts. Cause, a lot of people don't like correlate like art and science, but it's just like, so one of my real close friends is a tattoo artist. That's why I'm so excited to talk to you. And like, I'll just kind of hang out with her at the shop sometimes, and like, I'll like watch her sketch stuff, and it looks like geometry. I'm like, it's crazy. Like, like the pre and prep work and the lines and the shading and the circles and everything. It looked like something out of like, the Da Vinci Code and shit. Yeah. I was just like, man, like, I wish I could like see art the way that you see art. Like, it's crazy. Yeah. It's crazy.
It's just a bunch of rules like pulled together. Like you learn like a million rules, and so long as you're able to like to remember that at the moment, you can create anything at any moment. Really, like you could, if I were to sit here and learn how to draw a line, for example, right? I'm going to learn every single like angle of the eyes. I'm going to learn every single angle of the distance between the eyes. And I'm going to learn every single angle of the nose and the distance between the eyes and the nose on every single type of like, age of the line. And so like, so long as you start remembering those small rules, like when it's older, they're a little bit more separate, a little bit smaller, stuff like that, you'll start to be able to create basically anything. Literally, but that's why people specialize, right? There's going to be a lot of artists that specialize in just flowers. They just straight up, that's all they do. And they can do that in their sleep. Why? Because they've created it a million times, and by then they've already memorized it. But if you have very intentional like actions to get to that, you can do it much faster. Like if you learn how to be intentional about memorizing, you can learn something in like a week. You can learn something in no time.
And that actually leads me to a question that, I was just thinking of as you were just talking about that. Actually, two questions. So first, as you started to progress and really be like, oh, I really enjoy drawing. I really enjoy the creation of all this. What were some things you started to do in order to hone your skills, outside of just, practice and repetition and, getting inspired, by whether it was, Pokemon or things that you saw? Was there like any sort of resources or people that you spoke to?
Oh, hell yeah.
And then the second question that I had when you were talking about specialties, was there ever an art, like a piece of art that you had to draw that you needed some additional feedback on, and you knew somebody who specialized in like that specific design that you reached out to and wanted to get some additional critique on?
All right, you're going to have to remind me of the second question once I finish the first one.
Yeah, it's all good.
That was a little bit longer. The first question was, have there been any resources that I've alluded to whenever I'm learning?
Yeah, once you started to get serious.
What I did was I saturated myself with art. There was a moment where I was coming out of college, and I've always liked to look at speed paintings and look at all those things, but I was literally saturating myself every summer after college, every summer during like high school. I would sit down, and because I was so inspired by these things, I would just saturate myself. I wouldn't know what questions to ask. I wouldn't know what to, if I knew what questions to ask, it'd be way better. It'd be much easier. But I didn't know what questions to ask, so it took me longer to get better. But the passion was always there. And so little by little, I did know what questions I needed to start asking. And, you know, my journey through like digital art and stuff like that was greatly affected by concept artists on YouTube and stuff like that, where you watch them do speed paintings, and you're watching these speed paintings over and over, and you're just catching like little glimpses here and there. I'm assuming there's a lot better resources now, but YouTube University, man, if you really love something and you can watch it to the end and over and over and over, and you can saturate it, I mean, there's no losing. You can't lose. You can't. If you don't even need YouTube, to be honest. You can. So what I do normally now is I find one artist that blows my mind and that like inspires me to no end, and I'll just digest their stuff from beginning to end. I'll look at every single one of their pieces. I'll ask myself, what makes their piece that piece? And I look at every little detail, and sometimes I'll catch something, sometimes I don't. I used to smoke a lot too. Mm-hmm. I don't do it as much anymore, but that used to slow me down too. I can't draw with the shit whenever I'm like high, but whenever I'm looking at art and looking at my own stuff, I used to be able to catch things and slow my own like brain down to be able to see things that I wasn't able to see. But that's when I'm like at my most inquisitive. Sometimes I'm not at that level where like art is my every breath. You know what I mean? But when it is, and I get like very inquisitive and very like what's the word? Kind of obsessive. Obsessive would be the word. Then I'll get that. But as far as resources, definitely YouTube, man. YouTube, and find artists that blow your mind. Find artists that make you want to draw, and figure out what it is about their thing that makes you want to draw. And to duplicate it if you have to duplicate it a million times, but figure it out so that you can then incorporate that same language that makes you feel something, incorporate it into your art and help people feel that same thing. It doesn't have to be the same exact way of drawing or anything like that, but that same feeling, you find a way to have that language in yours, so that you can continue to develop, because that's the true mark of something unique, right? Is the amalgamation of many different things, right? You grab and you get fed by a lot of people, and then you give it into a kind of like refined way to other people so that they can be inspired by you. That's the best way to learn, in my opinion, is grabbing other people's stuff, learning it, and putting it out.
Yeah, there's the intro into Rick Ross's Mastermind album, which is my favorite Rick Ross album. Like the opening tag of that is basically saying, like, you know, to be a mastermind, like you have to take the best shit from other people. Like nobody got all the information that they got, just like saying, like, yep, yeah, 1,000%.
You don't ever start a project like, I'm just going to start everything completely with scratch without looking at someone that maybe either did something similar, or, you know, it's people when they talk about creating something, and when others try to knock, like, oh, he pulled from here, but at the same time too, like you have to get inspiration from somewhere. And also, like, if you don't know exactly yet, you could see just one piece of art and then be like, oh no, now I know how I want to put my own spin on it. But just because you looked at that or pulled from it doesn't necessarily take away from your own creative craft.
Yeah. So we can't reinvent the wheel. We're just not capable, right? Like, if somebody were to describe a color that you've never seen in your life and just describe, you have no idea. You just can't. It's not possible. So what it is that, like, we tap into our memory, and like, if you think you're truly being creative and you came up with something, I can promise you somebody somewhere did something similar at some point in time. So it's not that crazy. You know what I mean? The ones that are most successful are the people that are able to hide their references, right? If you're able to reference something from like a ballet recital that you went to, and you grab some of that imagery and you put that on a piece of paper, and it'll be like, this is magnificent. I've never seen anything like this. Why? Because there's such different mediums, right? You're looking at dance on one end, and then you're looking at a painting, or you're looking at a sculpture or something like that, right? And you grab just something about that recital, or something about that film, or something about that photo, or something about that I don't know, that building, and you put that into a piece of art, just one glimpse. Everything else is something that you've accumulated from before, but then you grab that one reference and you put it in there, right? that's what'll make something unique, usually, right? Mm-hmm. So it's just hiding your references. Those are the people that are most praised today.
Absolutely. I'm all for it, because again, like, you know, movies and TVs and things like cinema, that's my thing. So it's like I'm all for like the obscure movie reference. Mm-hmm. Be like, oh, where'd that come from? Like, chill, y'all, relax.
Said, no, that's just me.
If you don't know, you don't know.
You can't even get in.
So super facts. So kind of sticking on like the tattoo line of stuff again, because, you know, I'm not an artist, but like I'm a super duper tattoo enthusiast. Like I started getting tattoos when I was like 17. I ended up being fortunate enough to like become close with my artists and stuff, and just kind of, cause like I've always like been in awe of people who could draw, because like I can't draw worth shit. I could a mean stick figure, I got you. like a house with the smoke in the chimney, that's me.
Don't play with me.
Like, look, don't play with my house with the 4 windows, like window in the door, I got you. But yeah, so it's just like people who like can really like sit down and like draw, and that's their medium. I've always like kind of been like captivated, and I think that's why like I love tattoos so much, because like I guess that's the way that I can express myself through art, because I can't do it myself and whatnot. So just kind of on some tattoo related questions, because I always like to get different answers from different tattoo artists. What is your biggest tattoo aftercare pet peeve?
I had a relatively close friend come to me after vacation, like literally went to vacation, maybe like a week after I tattooed him, and then came to me with this washed out tattoo, like super faded, and he's super dark from the sun. And I'm just like, what do you want me to say?
He said, all I did was go in the ocean.
Like, all I did was bask in the sun for hours on end. Like, what do you mean? Like, what am I supposed to do with that? It's so dark, I can't see it. Like, I don't know. Like, I can sit here and try to like make it darker in places that can have contrast, but that's a ruin. That tattoo is ruined. That tattoo is done. And love him to death. Like, you know, he probably didn't internalize what I was communicating to him when I told him not to be careful with the sun and be careful with excess water on your tattoo. Excess water can just get you in trouble, right? Like that can lead to infection and stuff. But the sun is just going to wash out your tattoo. That's a fact. Your skin is not prepared for that kind of like damage, especially when it's wide, like it's an open wound. So. Yep. He maybe didn't internalize it, but I guess he figured it out once he saw his tattoo get ruined. He probably still blames me, but it's just, it doesn't work if you don't take care of your tattoo. You don't even have to do that much to take care of your tattoo. All you have to do is just like not ruin it yourself, you know?
Yeah, that's facts. And it's funny you say that, because it's like that's the conversation that I usually have with people, because I guess like going back to the internalizing thing, you know, when you're the canvas and like you're sitting in a chair for 6 hours and you're watching, you know, the artist do like shading, black and white color and all that, I guess because it looks so complicated, you think that there's this deep complication to the aftercare. Like you try to like match the artist's energy, like, yo, they did the most to make this look the great, I gotta do the most to keep it this great. And then you get like the globs of the ointment on there.
That's another one. That's
That's mine.
What did you hear about that? About the globs?
So like I said, I've been getting tattoos for years now, and it's like I usually like send people to my peoples. You know, I'll definitely now that we got a report, I'll definitely send people your way. So it's just like they'll like get tattoos and they'll like call me and they'll be like, how much ointment should I put on? I'm like, bro, like a dab, bro. And they're like, no, but it's not. I'm like, trust me. And then I'll say like, it'll be like glossy and shit. I'm like, bro, you put way too much on there.
It's like, how do you expect to heal? You cannot heal with that much ointment.
Yeah, because it closes up. The air can't get to it now. Yeah. So it's just like, I know that's a big one. So I guess it's just a funny one, an insider, I guess, want to know. Are you team A&D or team Aquaphor?
I don't care. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. So long as you're not putting any,
a lot of people is like East Coast, West Coast.
So long as you're not putting any like, you know, like extra like harsh scents on your skin, you're fine. You just don't want to get it infected. And shit. Yeah, no, that's wild. That's a wild case right there.
People are putting Neosporin on.
I know somebody.
They want to heal the tattoo out of the skin. They said, I don't want
I'm trying to take it off and hang it up on the wall.
I choose you.
It's not hard. It really isn't hard. Those ointments are on there to help with infection, but you can dry heal. You can dry heal your tattoo. I don't recommend it. I don't recommend it.
I did that once just to try. I did it once to try. Yeah. It is. Well, I guess the rule of thumb is listen to your artist. Yeah. That's the rule of thumb. I would just say to anybody. But it really is like different people's bodies heal different way. Cause like I know people who like don't scab at all. And I hate it. I'm so jealous. I wish. Like my shit's scab. But I've always been like that. Even like with cuts and bruises and stuff. I guess my white blood cells be like, all right, we got you, bro. Like, scab on go. Like, I appreciate y'all, but relax. Yeah, so it's just like, but yeah, like I know people who's like don't scab at all, or even like with athletes, like they be getting tattoos and they be on the court in like 3 days. I'm like, with like fully healed tattoos. I'm like, what are you
hate
using?
You hate me. I understand. Actually, that happened not too long ago. My buddy, he like plays semi-professional rugby. Love him to death. Now went right into the field, ready to play some rugby. And rugby's a rough sport.
Out of all sports.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, but he took care of it though. Somehow nothing happened to his tattoo. It looks fantastic. So.
I know for a fact, I haven't been there, but I know for a fact Hollywood has like some secret 24-hour healing cream. I just know it. Cause I be seeing too many celebrities be like fresh out of chair and in like 3 days it's like fully healed. And I'm like, how?
Yeah.
I need answers, yo. I need that.
Yeah.
I need it. I need the secrets.
I tell you what though, if you are going to be active, you are going to play ball, you're going to do something, completely fine with it. Take care of it, wash it, and if it's already wrapped up in what's that called, Lubriderm, even better. You don't have to deal with it too much. I look at this stuff. That'll heal your tattoo up in like a week. No, not Lubriderm. Sorry, that's not what it's called.
I know what you're talking about.
It's a film. It's a film. I can't remember what it's called.
I know exactly what you're talking about. That's kind of newer. That wasn't like really around until like fairly recently. But I know exactly.
StayDrawlin. I said Lubriderm. Lubriderm is a lotion. StayDrawlin. That's what it's called. Yeah.
That's that Lubriderm Wayne put people on.
That's a
like
fact.
Lubriderm on the new tattoo.
Yeah. Meanwhile, I'm just like, don't do that.
Wayne uses Lubriderm. But yeah, matter of fact, that's kind of what is that? Because I've been seeing a lot of people use that now. Like it's like that saran wrap looking like patch.
Yeah,
it's
good. It's good. Some people have an aversion to like adhesives. Like they'll get actually like bumps and stuff, an allergic reaction to adhesives. So I don't recommend it to everybody. But if you are going to have a little bit more of an active like life, I would recommend it. Like if you're going to, I don't know, wear tight clothes or something like that. Yeah, it's essentially like a breathable material. Like you put it on, it'll trap in all of your like liquids that kind of like leave your skin, and it'll help heal your tattoo much quicker. So it's cool.
That's dope. Because I remember the first time I ever saw it, I thought it was like a press-on tattoo, like the water, like the shit that kids do. And it was like a grown-ass man. And I was like, interesting. Okay. But then I like kept seeing them, and I was like, oh, that must be a thing. And then I kind of like heard about it, but I never knew what it was. Or like I've never seen it like in a retail space. Like I just like will see like celebrities or athletes like they'll like have it and stuff, and I'd be like, that's the secret. Okay. Interesting.
Wasn't an adult press-on tattoo.
Look, I swore this grown-ass man had a press-on tattoo, and I was just like, well, I mean, if it works for you, bro.
Instead of going on vacation for a week, it's gonna wash off by day 3.
Facts. He's like, I'm about to take a trip to Miami. Yeah. let me be inked up real quick with these press-ons. Is there a tattoo? Like I know tattoo artists usually have like a code. Is there a tattoo or a style or an image that you just refuse to do? Whether because like you've done it too much, or you just was like, nope, not doing it.
I don't have a problem with a lot of things. I just don't like hyper simplistic things. Like if you're gonna come at me with just lettering or an infinity sign. Like,
what's the butterfly with the tiger eyes that everybody
I'd probably take that. I would probably, because I have an opportunity to make something that's mundane into something cool. It's just I can't do super simple stuff because it feels like work. You know what I mean? It feels like actual work, and I don't want my job to feel like work.
I like that.
What else? I don't like to do tribal tattoos. You can miss me with that. There's no way to make a tribal tattoo interesting. It's just that. Like, God bless you, because some people, you know what? I'd probably, if I had permission from let's say a Polynesian person, I was like, you know, it'd be an honor if you can give me this thing. You know, I've ascended to this.
I
would be like,
Polynesian
bro,
tattoos.
I'd take my time to do that. But like, first of all, I'm not Polynesian. I'm really out here doing like somebody else's stuff. I feel like I'm not big on like the hoorah of like social justice and stuff like that. Not anymore. I used to be, but I try not to be. But with appropriation and stuff like that, there's fine lines. I'm not gonna really sit here and just do Polynesian like tribal, or like just backtracking a little bit. I'm definitely not doing American tribal. That's just not it.
Yeah, those are the worst.
It's not.
You not doing the barbed wire around the bicep?
No, bro. Like, no. How am I gonna make that interesting? Like, I could possibly. There's probably a way to do it. Like, if I wanted to challenge myself, because a barbed wire is still an object that I could like turn into a million different things.
Right.
But tribal, like, I can't do anything with that. I respect it though. I respect it because it's still like an era, and it's still something that people might get off of nostalgia. I have a tribal tattoo myself. I fully expect to get made fun of, but it's the first tattoo my brothers ever got, and so I wanted to match that energy. You know what I mean? I was like, well, if this is how y'all represented yourselves during that time, I mean, it's endless, bro. We gonna die together. So like, it's gonna be on me. So I definitely have that.
Absolutely.
In that in that same vein,
American tribal is hot garbage.
That's right. I completely. If somebody ever points it out, I was like, yeah, this is bad. I know.
You're like, no, I'll admit it.
Yeah, it's all right.
It's the story behind
it. It's the story. Yeah. Right. I put that dead in the center of my whatever deltoid here. I was not gonna. Yeah.
No, I was
gonna say, Trav?
No, I was just gonna say, in that same vein, have you ever done a tattoo for someone where it was along those lines, and as you're doing it, in the back of your head, you're low key thinking like, I don't really know if you really understand the historical context or meaning behind what you want me to get.
Probably.
Because I'd be wondering that sometimes when I see some tattoos, I'm like, do you really know the historical context, or just do a quick Google search?
Like the Confederate flag tattoos?
I'm not gonna lie, I might get like shit for this, but I've done some religious tattoos that I'm like, well, I'm just like, damn, this might be a mistake. You know what I mean? Like, I've done a Buddha of somebody's like thigh. You know, just like a big thigh tattoo, but it's in the front of his thigh. And in my head, I'm just like, should Buddha be down there? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
right.
Like, would a Christian person put like Christ? I don't know. Like, so I just don't know, and I'm pretty sure the answer is no, right? Mm-hmm. But the tattoo came out so fire.
There you go.
The tattoo came out so nice, bro.
You gonna make it dope. I mean, that's all that matters.
Yeah, I was so happy with that piece, man. And it's not about the money, nothing like that. Sometimes it's about the satisfaction of like that release. Like I put that there, and now it's there. It's done.
So with that thought process too, how do you maintain the balance between respecting the client's requests, but also providing your insight of what direction that you think that should go, especially if they're really adamant about what they want?
It's a collaboration, man. First and foremost, I'm here to be of service, but we're partners. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I'm definitely here to be of service, but we're partners before that. And I think that we both need to understand that, one, I'm going to put in work with my time, my mind. Everything's going to be at work. When I leave work, man, just to go off of that, when I leave work, I leave depleted, right? You tell me to do math or count money and do things, it takes me a while. Like, I'm literally like, I'm depleted. I cannot function at the same level that I was functioning in the morning. It just is what it is. You know, as chess players, I know that they start getting depleted after a while too. Like, it's just a lot going on here. Because it's a bunch of, remember I told you it's rules, following rules? You have to be able to pull those rules out of your mind at every single moment of the tattoo or of a drawing. But tattoo is a little bit more intensive because we're partners. We're working together. this person's in pain. You're going to leave as depleted as I am. You're going to be as depleted as me. Your adrenaline is going to spike a million times, and it's going to drop. And you're going to be bummed and tired at the end of the tattoo session. Just 3 to 6 hour session, that's enough to have you down and out. And so with that premise, we have to realize that, yes, you can kind of tell me what to do, but not really, right? This is a partnership. Because while you hired me, I also have a couple other people willing and happy to take a position here. So let's work together. Let's make each other happy, and see me as an artist, and I'll see you as a partner. We're going to work together. A lot of times, there are clients that want to push their weight around. It's not often, but they want to push their weight around because they're hiring you, and they think that they gave you a deposit. I was like, sir, you can have your deposit. You'll never get tattooed by me ever again. As a matter of fact, I might even blacklist you from other artists. But it just doesn't work out, right? That relationship can't be that. It has to be a partnership. It has to be a loving relationship between two people that are going to sacrifice for hours for each other. Money is nothing to do with it.
Right.
Money has nothing to do with it. We've agreed, for me specifically, we've agreed with a price months before. We don't have to bring that up once ever again. That's done. That has nothing to do with that. Right now, it's about the art and the relationship between you and I. There are some times where I have to put my foot down and they don't want to work with me. It's like, hey, I can't make you happy. You know how I know that? Because what you're asking of me is not something that I can possibly do. I can't do that. I don't know how to. I'm not a machine. As a matter of fact, if I do that right now, I'll be upset with myself. And if I put that energy into you, you're gonna hate that tattoo for times to come. You're not gonna like the tattoo, even if it looks fire. You're just not gonna like it because I'm putting that energy into it. And I know it sounds like Jaja, it sounds like some BS, but I can't do my best job into something I'm not confident in. Right? And so that's we can keep it at that at the very least. Times that I haven't been able to work with people is just that sometimes they're just a little bit unreasonable. They don't do their research correctly. So what they'll do is they'll come into my shop and say, I'll show them my artwork, and just like every other one of my posts, they'll see that it's a very unfinished drawing, but it should look like what I have on my posts. That's what it should look like at the very least. All my posts look pretty similar as far as style goes and as far as concept, level of concept goes. They don't really fall or rise that much. You know what I mean? It's pretty even keel. And so when they don't do their research and they're expecting something completely different of me, it's my fault and it's not my fault, right? We both have to take responsibility for that. We have to make sure that you do, the client does the research and that I communicate that correctly in my books, in my portfolio and all that stuff, and in my communication when they're going to get tattooed, right? But most times is that they're thinking that you're talented and gifted in one area of life. And so they think that same talent and gift is going to translate to every area of your life. So if you come to me and say, hey, David, I want a full color realism face on my thigh, I'm going to say, where the fuck did you see that on my page?
Yeah, right.
How do you expect this for me to reproduce that when you haven't seen it once? I might be able to do it, but I'm going to refuse it because that's not the what I'm trying to do. That's not what I'm here to replicate. I'm likely able to do it. It's not within outside of my reach, but I'm not doing that with the same confidence that I'm doing my black work. It's just not possible. Right? I'm not gonna do half-assed work on you, hurt your skin more than needed,
right? And
have you walking around with something that I can't put my name on. That's awful. You can have your deposit back.
Yeah.
There has been times where I've shown drawings that are within my own realm of possibilities, but my drawings don't cut it. No matter what I did, it didn't cut it. And so even if I were to go in and edit 3 times, it's only been happened once to me. If I go in and edit it 3 times with the instructions that you gave me, and that drawing still doesn't cut it, it's because I'm not the artist for you. What you're asking from me is something that you've seen elsewhere and that person should be doing it. not me. You're trying to turn me into something else. Basically, you're trying to use the artist as an extended brush, as an extended tattoo machine. And I'm just a human. You can't grab my hand and work with it. It's just, I'm not a tool.
Right.
I'm literally just another person that's able to do the things that I've replicated a million times on my page or on my portfolio. That's how you should look at it. Some people want to use you as a tool.
No, I think that's important.
That's dope.
Because, I mean, like, in every, facet of life when you're working, I think a lot of people get wrapped up and forget the human aspect of things. And in order to build a working relationship, you need to have that chemistry, that rapport. So, like, you're not going to go to a chiropractor and say, yo, my foot is broken, I need help with this. Like, all right, well, you got to, why are you coming to me for that? Like,
why you come here?
Crazy. It's unreasonable, but it's the exact thought that people have. One time I had somebody come in with showing us this forest and a tiger. It's really bad. It was really, really bad. That he had showed me like kind of like a reference of somebody with a forest and a tiger right here. Mm-hmm. And he comes into the shop and asks, who's really good at portraits, at drawing like realistic portraits? Who's really good at that? And then he goes in to show us the reference. I want you to do this if you're really good at portraits. And I'm looking at this, I'm just like, I think that this person thinks that if I can do portraits, I can also do a tiger and a forest at this level. It was bad anyways, but at a level where the portraits can be done as well. And that's the thing. It's just like, just because you show exceptional talent on one thing, it doesn't mean that it translates to everything, because you might not have ever done a forest in your life. You might have not ever done a tiger in your life. And you're amazing at portraits. It just doesn't translate. It's not the same thing. Like, there's specialties for everything. And that's, I don't know. I think that is a very common misunderstanding about art. It's not the same.
Absolutely. Do you have a preference on, like, when you get a client, do you prefer like they come fully researched, got what they want, hey, I want this, we ready? Or do you like it to be like a collaborative, like y'all kind of figure out what journey y'all about to go on together with the piece? Both.
At my level and price point, it's really important that you do the research, because it's a little bit more money than you need to spend for something mediocre, right? Like, if you come to me and I give you something mediocre, that's stuff, dude. You know what I mean? Like, that blows. I likely won't take the project, but that's an L on you. That sucks. So you should, if you're going to spend the money and if you're going to take the time, like, if you're going to wait 3-4 months, you might as well do the research. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And then second, I'm super happy. If you have trust, I'm super happy to get 3 words from you, a body part, a size, and that's enough for me to create something. But you have to be trusting. You have to be, you have to understand that, like, what you told me to do was to create something completely out of my own interpretation, my values, my morals, what I think. That you have a certain appreciation for me as a person, that you want to take those values, those morals, those things that I've been raised with, those images that I've collected in my mind, my feelings, and put this into a conceptual word that you've given me. Let's say love. I don't fucking know. What does love mean? And then you tell me to create something based off that and to create that. I'd be happy to do that. As a matter of fact, I encourage that. Why? Because you're going to get something very unique. You're going to get something super artistic, and just, you can't compare it to anything else because it's so conceptual. There's no guidance outside of a feeling. You know what I mean? And so I'm going to create that for you. And it'll be beautiful. It's just not, you just have to have full trust. Because if I draw, I don't fucking know, a bird with eggs and the eggs are hatching, and that's my interpretation of love, and you dislike that, that's on you. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Because it was a moment in time. You know what I mean? And you got that now. I've captured that and given that to you. That's a gift now. And you couldn't trust the process enough to, I don't know. It takes a lot. It takes a lot to get there. I've done that before though, and people have loved them. Yeah.
I like that. Yeah, that's kind of, but I've only been tattooed by 2 people my whole life. It was like my guy Brian, R.I.P. He like did my chest, my back, my first sleeve, but he had passed away in a car accident. So I like stopped getting tattoos because, like you were saying, bro, like I loved what you were saying about like the exchange of energies, and you know it, because it is, bro. It's like it's cathartic as fuck. Like that's why I love getting tattoos. Like it's like that's like my therapy. Like, I love everything about it. Like, the buzz of the gun, like, everything. Like, you know, just chatting it up with whoever your artist is. So, like, when he had passed away back in, like, 2012, maybe 2010 or 2012, I was kind of, like, lost in the woods. Like, I was like, damn, I have so many things I want to get. I don't want to, like, work with anybody else. And then, you know, by, like, the powers that be, my homegirl, Shauna, shout out to Shauna, she actually was, like, his apprentice. And we ended up, like, connecting just on some, like, accidental bumping into each other, because I used to like see her around at the shop a lot, but I didn't know she was studying. And then, you know, I've been rocking with her for forever. But kind of like you were saying, like I like will just bring to her like a concept, like, hey, this is a thought that I was having, you know, how can we like incorporate this? I usually do bring an image too, but I'm kind of like you were saying, David, I don't like getting tattoos that I know someone can see on Google. That's no. If that makes
nobody
sense.
should like that. I don't think. I think the people that think that that's okay normally regret it. If you go into a shop and get a infinity sign because you started to look cute on Pinterest, I know that you're going to regret it. I know that's a fact. If you're going to go into a tattoo shop, get a line and a rose and a compass in the same exact style that you see it on Pinterest, I know that you're going to regret it. That's not an if and or but. Like it doesn't matter. You're eventually going to fall out of love with that look that you like. You're going to see it in a million places, and then somebody at some point is going to point it out and be like, I've seen that before.
Hey, that was on.
Oh, and it's actually not even better than the Pinterest one. And then now you're just like, I got to get a cover up. You're going to regret it.
God damn it.
It's not going to work out. It's like the same way that they think it's going to work out. It's just not.
1000%.
Thankfully, I've developed a style where it's just really not that common. And as a matter of fact, I think it's really unlike, even the stuff that does look like my style, it's still not similar. It's still not the same. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And so even if I were to do a line, a rose, and a compass, or a clock, or a watch, it'll still look way different. It'll still look so different that it's acceptable to pass. And you shouldn't regret it at that point because it's coming from, I don't know, it's coming from a different hand, I guess, like a noticeably different hand.
I've actually had a couple homegirls that actually one of them does have the infinity tattoo, and I remember talking to her and I was like, oh, when did you get the tattoo? And she was like, back when I was younger. But to be honest with you, like I looking back, I didn't want this to be my first tattoo. I haven't gotten one since because I realized like the lack of thought that I put into this one, and now
that's what it is.
Yeah.
People are actually afraid of creativity. People are actually terrified because we're terrified of judgment, man. And in that same fear, we end up making bad decisions that get us judged, right? You'll see people getting those tattoos because they know that people will like them, like infinity. Oh, right. I thought it was cute. It's popular on Instagram. It must be good. I have to get it done. But they're terrified to go in and say, why do I want the infinite? Like, why? Like, what is it? And so from there on,
what's forever?
Yeah. And so like they're terrified of people judging their taste. Yeah. You know. So if I pick something that's not popular, will I be hated for it? And so usually the answer is fuck no. You're gonna be hated for being basic as shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know what's funny about that tribe? Like in like the community for people who have like a lot of tattoos, it's kind of like a running thing. It's just like you don't trust the person that only has like dope ass tattoos. Like,
that's me.
Like the people who like
other than the tribal one, I have all nice tattoos.
But that's what I'm saying. Like everybody who has a lot of tattoos has like one tattoo that is like, yeah, like it's not the best, but it's part of my story, so I'm gonna keep it.
Right.
Like, but you know, like people who like just started getting tattoos like in the 2019s, 2020s, who only had like super fire, like high def HD 1080p tattoos. This is like, get out of here, bro. You're not part of this life.
Actually, that's a good point, man. One of the best tattoo artists I know only has like bad tattoos. I'm just like, dog. Like,
yo, forget one trap, gentrified tattoos, 1000%, bro. Never had a name for it. Now we do. It's like you got the cat who had no tattoos 3 years ago. Now he's bombed out, but it's all fire ass shit. It's like, you just thought it was trendy. You not about this life, bro. Get out of here.
I'm kind of that. I'm kind of that. I'm kind of one of those new age. I'm not gonna lie. So I accept the comments, but I am definitely that. Most of my tattoos are fucking fire, and it's because no. But the truth is, I started getting tattoos really late in life. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And I started early in life.
Yeah. I started getting tattooed really late, and I have the opportunity to work with a lot of really good artists too. So I'm one of those that old school, like old heads would not trust that much. Like they'll look at me and like, there's no way this guy's an artist. Yeah, that's definitely.
Were you tattooing before you started getting tattoos? Or did you already
No. I got my first tattoo at the tattoo shop where I work. Yeah, okay. That was my first tattoo there. It's just like a sentimental thing. I remember I had like promised my mom, like, yo, I know how you feel about tattoos. I'm not gonna get a tattoo until I'm like 25, because 10 years, I was like 15 years old. Like 10 years from now, if I still want the same things that I want, there's no way this is like a phase, right? And so I always had a pretty decent relationship with my mom, but it was one of trust, right? And it was something that allowed me to do basically anything that I wanted growing up, because she had trust in me and I was not going to break that. Oh, yeah. So I was like going out to parties, coming back at like 1 a.m., 2 a.m. Like I was just doing anything I wanted, because I've always kept to my word. And I ended up getting tattooed pretty late in my life, man. I was 27 years old when I got my first tattoo. Yeah, it was just a promise. Otherwise I'd have been bombed out. Because, I mean, what does a young man want, dude? Like, a young man wants to attract girls normally. And what do girls like at a young age? Dudes that like kind of go against the grain, man. Like that's my understanding of it. That, you know, I like the bad. You know? Like, and what says bad more than a tattoo? So
that's funny you say that, because like when my mom's like old school white Jewish woman, so tattoos weren't really her bag. So to skirt around that, I got her name as my first tattoo. Which how you gonna be mad at that? That was like her Christmas present when I was like 17. I got it like across my back and everything. She's just like, oh, okay. And I just like kept doing it after that. But even still to this day, it's always, oh my God, that's so nice. Just don't get no more. Still to this day. Yeah. Oh my God, that's so nice. Just don't get no more. But now it's like, I have so many, it's like, she can't tell. Yeah. So it's like sometimes she'll catch it. That wasn't there before. I'm like, damn, how'd you peep? But you had just said something that I love, because my process for getting tattoos is the same as what you just said. Like, I'll come up with the concept. I'll find like an image on the internet that's like similar to something that I want, and I'll just like sit with it. Like, I won't look at it. I'll just put it in my phone and save it, and I dead ass won't look at it for like 2, 3, 4, 5 months. And then if I come back and look at it and I'm still like, oh yeah, I need this, that's what I'll do. So like when you say like, yo, if I still want the same thing 10 years later, it's not a phase. Like I want this. Yeah. Like I need this. So that's dope that you do that, because I've never really like had that conversation with people. Because people will like ask me like, well, how do you figure out? Because most people that I know who don't have tattoos, their thing is like, oh, I don't know what I would get, or like, I don't know what I feel strongly enough to like have on me forever. And then they'll like ask me like, what do you do? And I was like, I can't. My process isn't going to work for you. Right. Like you kind of got to figure that out like inside yourself. So it's just like, for me, it's just like, I just try to like internalize like the codes that I live by in life, like the things that like I'm no nonsense about. Like, all right, this is the type of person that I am. This is the type of person that I want to be. And then I'll just try to figure out how to put that in like an image. But I like that you do the same thing. Like, you'll sit with something, and then if you come back and it's like, yeah, it's still screaming like, get me, then you go get it. Yeah, that's dope. I fuck with it.
And I did want to know though, when was the first time you were approached by a client for like an anime inspired tattoo, and what was your level of excitement for that?
This is kind of ironic, actually. I was looking down my Instagram feed not too long ago, and I did notice that my first ever anime tattoo was in like Pikachu, Bulbasaur, Charmander, and Squirtle. I was like,
hey. full circle.
What is going on here, bro? Like, what is this?
Let's go.
Being written? Like, what the hell? What's going on? Yeah, it was cool. I was really proud of that too. I remember being very like happy with it.
Man, the universe works in crazy ways.
Very strange. Yeah. Very strange. Very strange.
That's the best when like you go to do something and you like already did it, and then you like, look at me thinking like myself.
Yeah.
Shout out to
like when you order some food and you saved it for tomorrow, then you go in the fridge and you're hungry and you see it, you're like, I did save some food. Let's go.
That's so crazy.
That's to me.
Thinking about that right now.
That's so wild. Like things like that always like, trip me out. Like when you like, oh, I should probably do this, and then you did it. Like when you chose to buy 2 laundry soaps instead of 1, and then you ran out, you had that extra one. You're like, oh shit, I did buy 2.
I was kind to myself.
I always get an extra of something like, yo, I need more body wash. Well, I'm buying 2 so that I can avoid that.
Absolutely. But Dave, I want to pivot a bit, because at the top of the episode, I did say that you were another contender stepping up for our Dragon Call. So outside of being an amazing tattoo artist, I know that you have an avid love for boxing.
Yeah.
And, just kind of being either from Philly, around Philly, or like in the surrounding area, like Philly and boxing kind of are like synonymous with each other. So, like Danny Garcia, B-Hop, like that's kind of like our thing. Like when a boxer comes up out of Philly, they're like, oh, he's gonna be dirty. Yeah. He's from Philly. He can fight. So like where did your love of boxing like come? Where did that kick in at?
I guess if I'm talking from like an inner, like my shadow self type thing, I think that like every boy or man has like this need to break shit, you know what I mean? Like we have this, and it's not like anybody's like a badass, and nobody's like, no, it's just like nature. It just takes over, and so it's easy to gravitate to violence and to like anger if you don't have an outlet. You know what I mean? My friends were pretty into it. And I remember once we used to box in somebody's yard and just like beat each other's asses. And I probably took like a couple of times, and then like I remember getting into just a dumb scuffle like in high school. I was always pretty passive. I just didn't allow shit to like happen to me. I was always very protective of myself and people's treatment of me. Maybe you can call it like a Napoleon complex, but that was starting to spill into some negative things, right? Like, so if you have no outlet for breaking shit and just pent up extra energy, you're gonna end up spilling it over into inappropriate places. But my friends were really into it, and I know one, his name is Jeremy. He got really into it. He was like 6 months to 8 months like into it, and then my friend Ray and his brother got into it too. It was like as soon as they hit like 3-4 months into it, I started getting curious and started like walking with them to the gym. And on day one, I fell in love. Like I think I left the boxing gym after like a leg workout, like almost falling over. That's how intense the workout was. Intense for me, probably not for them, but it was intense for me. I remember just being super attracted to that, like that violence without emotion. You know what I mean?
Or consequences.
Yeah, and honestly, like you see a bunch of people that get pissed and they get violent. You know what I mean? Yeah. Whereas if you're smart, you'll get violent, but won't get pissed. And so that was something that was really attractive to me, and I just kept going. I just kept getting my ass kicked over and over and over again, and that was fine with me because I've always understood that like to get good, you have to be bad at something first. And I guess that was the initial part of it. So like if you want to get like deep with it, it's just like people's general need to branch out into their more dark side. And then if we're going to more solid concrete stuff, influenced by friends, you know what I mean, like boxing outside of the ring, and then like actually taking it up as a discipline. I always like to play sports. Was kind of shunned for my size, so I was always pretty small. But boxing accepted me, and I guess that's another thing that kind of made me gravitate towards it. Like you have this tiny dude, like super skinny, and he goes in there and gets praised for his size. It's just like, oh, I'm in the right place. I don't care how much I get beat. That means I can get better. Yeah. So, yeah, that was that.
Yeah, facts. Like I say all the time, because I used to like teach kids and stuff, not boxing, just like after school stuff, and that when that happened. And then you got your friends who like talk shit that like who have never been in a fight in their life, and like I always say, like there's no substitute for getting punched in the face except getting punched in the face. Like, there's no way to explain that. Like you were saying, like how you were just like how we say earlier, like trying to explain color to somebody who's never like seen colors. Like how do you explain that? It's just like that's why I always laugh like for people who I know aren't fighters, and I by no means consider myself to be a fighter. Like you said, like I could defend myself, but I don't go out seeking confrontation. But I'm just like, when I have like my friends who like aren't fighters and they're like ashamed of that because like that they're not like violent people, so they like overcompensate. I'm like, all right, feel that way and then get punched in the face because fighting ain't fun, yo. Like boxing, like the sport is fun, but I say all the time, like movies be capping you up. Even if you win a fight, you still lost because you're sore as shit the next day. Your hands hurt.
It never lasts as long as
it's the truth, man. and like you fight in the street, it's like it's a form of a responsibility for you, right? You can beat somebody's ass, but it can come back and bite you, or you can go to jail, or you can, I could break my hands in the streets and lose thousands of dollars in the following two weeks. Thousands. That's literally, there's no winning in a real fight. And not only that, but like you can try to show off and like, let's say I'm just nice as shit now. I'm feeling myself. Shank.
Yep.
Where you can't box bullets.
You can't box bullets either. And so like, what are we doing now? I love the discipline of boxing because you can fucking run too. Like if you're on your feet and you're agile, you can dodge stuff. You can get the fuck out of there if something's getting serious, right? Whereas if you're not, and you're just a sitting duck because you're not confident in fighting, or all you do is ground game, and so you want to take somebody down with a gun. That's not going to help you. But
people don't.
I'm happy that I know how to box. I'm happy that I know how to defend myself. But I don't want to get to the point where my that darkness wants to seep out in inappropriate places. And that it was not too long ago. I was starting to just like, I guess, manifest itself in really negative areas. So I remember I got into a fight with my friend. I got into like arguments at a club, and I was like, what am I doing? Like, why is it that it's so, why is it calling me, right? Why is this calling me?
Yeah.
And I think that's just an easy answer is just finding some of that chaos, but like constraint, right? Like finding a gym where I could let that out, finding, running or, doing push-ups or anything. It's really important that we stay out of the streets because fighting ain't fighting anymore. It's not the same. Nah. People don't fight fair, and they're not expected to fight fair. So.
Yeah, and it's never over. Like no one ever takes an L. It's like, all right, we're gonna come back and do this again. And now it's just like, bro, how many times are we gonna do this? Yeah. I'm over it at this point. Like we don't even know why the original fight took place. Like we've been doing this for so long. Super fast. But I love the fact that you're self-aware enough to like that you realized that like my anger is starting to like spill out into like my everyday life. All right, let me tighten it up. 'Cause, most people. It's just like, if I'm mad, I'm mad. Like whoever and I'm right and you're wrong. Catches the smoke. Right. Exactly. Yeah. whoever catches these stray bullets, metaphorical, obviously. Yeah. Like you just catch them. I was in a bad mood. You got in my way. That's on you. Like as opposed to like being self-aware to be like, damn, kind of being a dick today. Like, let me stay away from people until I get this calmed down. But you actually said something that perfectly set up my next question. As a tattoo artist and a boxer, do you not find that to be an extreme conflict of interest with your tools?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That you use?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, a conflict of interest, and like if I started like fighting again, that would suck. I don't know that I could start going full blown boxer right now. I think I could probably practice jiu-jitsu and get away with being okay. Mm-hmm. But I don't think that I could practice it. But as far as like knowing the sport and understanding how to like fight in the street, like that could save my life. It really could. Absolutely. Also, like the attitude that comes with being a trained fighter, that can save my life and other people's lives and other people's careers.
Yeah.
Right. So if I'm being honest with the person that's in front of me, because there's no fear in my heart, and I can just say the things that I have to say without any hate, without any I don't know, just the conviction of saying what I want to say. I just want to say this because it's right. And somebody gets mad, I don't care, because guess what? Like, I'm a man just like you. Yeah. Right? And that's okay, right? We don't have to fight over it. We're just having a conversation. We have to get through it, right?
Yeah.
But it can save somebody's life. I can stand up for people. Not that I'm small, by the way, guys, but the attitude remains. I'm a smaller guy in stature, right? I'm like 5'9", 130 pounds. But the attitude remains, right? If you have to speak up, you have to speak up, right?
Right. Yeah, and that can sometimes, go an even longer way, when you have that sort of mentality with somebody, because they can come in with some hostile, aggressive energy, but then realize like, yo, we're not here for that.
Right, exactly. Exactly. You can have that if you want to.
Right.
But I propose this. And so when somebody gives it to you, you don't want to take it.
Yeah.
Normally.
Because what's so crazy about that? I've found in my experience that maybe I'll say 8 times out of 10, maybe not 9 times out of 10, that like when altercations happen, neither party really wants to fight, but they don't want to be the person to say I don't want to fight.
And I have no problem saying, hey, I don't want to fight. You can have the fight if you want to. I will step outside with you. We can do it in a safe place. We can get that anger, like that pent up anger that you have towards me. You can have it. You can have it. You can literally point it towards me and whoop my ass if you wanted to. I'm no stranger to ass beatings. But we could look at it from another perspective. Do you really want to do this? Oh, you really do? Okay, so let's follow along. It's unavoidable. I have to do this. But normally it's no. Like, I don't really want to do this. It's just that you piss me off, and you if you're scared, you're gonna speak out of term, or you're gonna speak under term. Like, if you show fear to people and you're gonna let them bully you, and then that's gonna drive you to like act out of line, because if somebody is looking down on you and spitting in you, like in your face and stuff like that, you're probably gonna snap out, even if you don't want to fight, right? If you're like bitching like, oh no, I don't want to fight, and you're doing all this and all that, and like showing all this like this emotion and this like unwillingness to confront, right? You're inviting it even more, like in a bad way. You know what I'm saying? But if you're there and you can have a real conversation with somebody and say exactly what it is that you need to say, hey, that wasn't right. You need to like, calm down or figure something out. Then you can move forward. Then, because you can't otherwise. I know Joe Rogan had something going on like that. Somebody was stealing like jokes or something like that, but Joe Rogan is a trained fighter, super like masculine dude.
That man's a killer.
And he has no reasons to hold his tongue for anything that's wrong. And so he can save somebody from dealing with that, and also avoid an altercation. Right? He doesn't have to hurt anybody. He can just say what he needs to say, prepared for what's to come. Right?
Yeah.
That's all it is.
And it's kind of like what you were saying, like about what attracted you to boxing, like, like it's the violence without the emotion. And that's Joe Rogan. Like, he's usually even killed at all times. Like, even when he's like, doing his training videos showing that deadly ass spinning back kick, it's just like
crazy,
calm. Like, and then you hear him kick the back, this just sound like a shotgun. You're like, nope, not fucking with him.
Dragon Ball Z during the Frieza saga was capping. Remember he was angry as hell, turned blonde. I was like, bro, you
facts.
That's not life. That's not real life.
Super facts. That's why they brought Ultra Instinct in. Like, this is more realistic.
Yeah,
like the ultimate form is actually you're actually in your calmest state, and you're not letting it get to it. Super facts. So one thing that I wanted to touch on again, because I know Trav, we got a couple more questions, but we had talked about it in like our pre-talk interview. A guy who I'm growing to respect now, a boy that I hate him about 2 years ago. But we had talked about Jake Paul, and you had kind of like a contrary take that you actually like respect what he's doing. I'm getting there now. But I just want to hear like your take on like him and what he's been doing in the fighting game.
Man, shout out to people that just get their paper and are willing to be the antagonist, and are willing to go through hardship before they get the love, because it's the same thing with Mayweather. Now I'm comparing him to Mayweather very loosely, because Mayweather is very, it's very high on my list of people that I admire.
He don't mind being the bad guy.
Yeah, Mayweather is somebody that I've loved from ever since he beat one of my favorite fighters. I had to realize, I was very self-aware as a young man as well. He beat De La Hoya, and I was rooting for De La Hoya. I was like, oh, there's no way that De La Hoya got beat just now. That was bullshit. That was like the judges are so da-da-da. And I looked at that fight with just a calm spirit, just looked at the fight and saw how De La Hoya got his ass whooped. And in my head, I was like, damn, this guy is special. And then I started like looking around, and I don't like to follow what most people say just because they say it. Mm-hmm. As a matter of fact, it makes me kind of wary whenever somebody's like super anti something. You know what I mean? Yeah. It makes me kind of wary with that kind of stuff. So if they're like, I don't know, everybody fucking hates Trump. I have to be like, so, like, who is Trump? You know what I mean? Like, now I have to look into it. So same thing with like, now Jake Paul is like a pretty like shitty guy, right? But he's training his ass off. He's making a fuck ton of money and bringing a fuck ton of attention towards the sport of boxing. This man is a genius. He's doing that shit by himself because Logan Paul is garbage. I don't like him. I think he's doing it for the clout, and I don't think he's like serious. Jake Paul's serious. That motherfucker's nice. He is nice. He can fight. And so when I see that, I'm just like, I can root for you. I can, like, even if you're hated, even if you're just like this bratty kid that's like, making it easy for everybody to hate you and to sell more tickets, I'll put my money on you, because you're manipulating people now. That's the same thing that Mayweather did. He was manipulating people, and people were allowing themselves to be manipulated by him. And I saw exactly that. I saw him like being like charitable to people. I saw what he was doing with his money. I saw everything. I'm just like, this dude's amazing. He's staying quiet about all the good shit that he does and allowing people to see all the bad shit. He's eating like fast food, fried chicken during his like interviews and all that stuff. I'm just like, this guy's a fucking genius. He's a WWE character.
Facts. 1000%. When Logan Paul, so in travel tell you, so like pre 2020, so cause I have children, so I remember the Pauls from like Disney Channel and stuff. And then when all that stuff happened, like with Logan Paul with like his vlog, and like he had like caught somebody on tape like committing suicide and everything and whatnot, and he was like public enemy number one. So I was like there for all of that. So I was like, fuck the Paul brothers. Yeah. Like I was definitely like on that bandwagon. Yeah,
he sucked. I don't really like him as a person, but whatever.
But so crazy you say that, because it's like, I guess I've kind of always followed, because there's such polarizing people. Yeah. Like you can't not watch. Like you like, as much as you be like, yo, fuck them, it's like when they do some shit, you're gonna pay attention. Right. So it was like my respect for Jake started kicking in when Logan was gonna fight Mayweather. When he like did the whole got your hat shit and like got it tattooed and then started making got your hat hats. I was like, yo, he's a marketing genius, yo. Because it's like you were saying, he comes across as like just like a meathead, like just like a spoiled rich kid with rocks in his head. But it's just like when like all the fights that he's done, like he's promoted like by himself. Like even his opponents, because they didn't take him seriously.
Man.
Like they weren't really like promoting the fights. They weren't really like getting out here doing commercials. But like between social media and TikTok and videos and getting tattoos, I was like, yo, my man's selling these pay-per-views like single handedly and winning. So it's just like I can't even be mad at him.
I remember when he first fought Nate Robinson and the way that Nate Robinson charged in on him, and I was like, this is clearly Jake put in the time to like actually learn like the sport of boxing. Where I think Snoop was he was saying it when he was commentating. He's like, "Oh no, Nate, this ain't a street fight. What you doing, man?" Because he was just no form, nothing. Like was wide open.
Facts.
And then he got knocked out.
Yeah. And it's crazy because I remember when Jake like said like, "Oh yeah, I'm about to be a boxer," and I was like, shut the fuck up. No, you're not. But like to see see where he was then to now, that boy's bad. Like, that's a bad boy.
But he's about to fight this MMA dude, Anderson Silva. I am pumped for that.
Yeah, bro. I'm super.
I think he's gonna get his ass whooped.
Yeah, him and Anderson Silva are gonna fight. I'm super excited. But that goes back to like he's a marketing fucking genius. I was like
if he wins this fight, man, I'd be very surprised because Anderson Silva got hands. That man has hands.
Yeah.
And he's big. I know he's kind of like on the other end of his UFC career, but he's not like washed at all.
It doesn't look that way.
Like that's been everybody else's like complaints about who he's been fighting. Like, oh, he be fighting fighters who are like over the hill, like Ben Askren and stuff like that. But it's just like, no, Silver's still a dirty boy. He's still dirty. So I'm super excited for that fight because it's just like each fight, it's just like every time he picks an opponent, it is someone who's a bit better than the last one, and everybody's like waiting for that L. Like, oh, this is the one. And this motherfucker wins.
This man legit said, I don't want to be a YouTuber anymore. I want to be taken seriously and I want to be a boxer. And he did it. And so that's it. That's enough. For me, that's enough. He's a bad motherfucker, bro.
It became enough for me. Yeah. he won me over. But he is legit a WWE character, and Logan Paul's literally in the WWE now. So
he is?
Promo,
he got signed. He got signed. He had a match at SummerSlam. Like he's like legit.
Isn't his next match
professional
against
wrestler
Roman Reigns?
For the championship. Like them Paul, and and it's so crazy because like I don't know too much about like their backgrounds, but it's like, but to my understanding, like their parents weren't like rich or like wealthy, like they like grew up in Ohio. I don't know that like they were like in the industry or nothing, but I know like they were Disney kids. Like they legit, from my understanding, like built this empire. Like the two of them just hard work, like just hard work and just like putting shit out, just constantly, just like putting material out, and it just went out. So it was just like, yeah, they did that. Like them Paul boys. Say what you want about them, but they not scared to work. Like that is one thing that you can't take away from them. That they are some hard working ass dudes.
Yeah, they're getting it at the end of the day. Yeah, I don't think that Logan Paul takes the sport seriously. That's the one thing I have to
boxing.
Say. Yeah, I think Jake Paul does. That's why I only mentioned Jake as like somebody that I respect. I think at the end of the day, Logan Paul's gonna make his money. I'm gonna support that. I'm gonna support the business for sure, because at the end of the day, we should all like definitely be striving to make this money. And if you don't want to be something, you got to find it elsewhere. And he's doing that. But I don't think he's
started the energy drink company.
Yeah.
Like just cause, and they're like up there now. Like it's like
what energy drink is this?
What's it called? Prime? I want to say it's called Prime. Okay. I'm almost positive that's what it's called. But yeah, like he started it like him and because him and KSI like did those two fights. Mm-hmm. They ended up becoming real cool off that, and they started a fucking energy drink company.
They hated each other,
and they're
too.
they're like top 3. It's like Gatorade, Vitamin Water, Prime.
Wow,
like up there. Yeah, like, and it's been like a year, if that.
That's wild.
Like, yeah, it's like crazy. Like they work. They work. Like I don't know what else to say like about them. Like they put in the work, yo. It's just like it is inspirational to see, like you were just saying, like they come up with a plan and they execute. Like they just do it. It's just,
you got to put in the work to get where they're at. Like I know people can hate, but it's just like there's a level of dedication and effort to get there. It's not just like, oh, I'm gonna press record and here we go. I just now garnished 1 million views. It doesn't work like that. Like
At all.
it doesn't work like that at all.
Like at all. But yeah, they're doing it. So shout outs to them. I'm officially on air ending my beef with the Paul brothers. Breaking news.
Is this more of a business decision now?
Oh hell yeah. Come get us. we cool now. It's all squash, Trav. But this is one of the few times where we've actually covered like most of the questions that we have. And I could talk to you for hours. Is there anything else, Trav, that you wanted to go over that we did not cover?
No, it was crazy. Like, as we were discussing everything, like we were just flowing and, questions were popping out, whether we had them already or that we were just, as you were talking about different things, David. But I love this conversation. I love learning more about you. And always when it comes to different aspects of art, I just love hearing about the creative process and what goes through people's minds, because everyone is different. Everyone's unique, and there's nothing that's the same. So, I always cherish these conversations and just really enjoy people bringing their different backgrounds and perspectives.
Absolutely. But we got to have you back 1000% for another episode when you got some new things going on, or even if you don't have anything going on. You just want to come and talk. we
always welcome the invite after we have a guest on. We're always like, hey, look, now that you're on this platform, friends of the show, friends of the squad.
I'm super happy. I'm super happy with the conversation. I think everything went super, super well. I mean, it's easy to talk to y'all. Y'all are good at this. So yeah, keep it rocking, man. I'm definitely down to come back
as we move up. That's why we want to do this. Like with get to know guests and like develop this rapport. Because it's like, when somebody gets up, we reach back and pull everybody else up.
Man. Yeah, man, absolutely.
It's too much money out here. Like we all need to eat. But before we close out, just let the people know where they can find you. Just get your shit off. We want to make sure that we promote you and everybody knows how they can get in contact with you and get work done by this man. But come correct, do your research.
Please.
Don't come in half-assed.
Don't bring no tribal shit to him. He don't want it.
I'm pretty easy to find. I mainly just do Instagram, and it's just StayDrawlin, StayDrawlin. You can find me on TikTok. I'm a little less active there, even though that's where the most potential is for growth. I know I should probably go back on there.
We say the same thing every week.
No, that was like viral like a couple times on TikTok, and I'll drop the ball. Like, yeah, I don't even want to get into it. Maybe next time.
We say the same thing. Like, we should probably get on TikTok.
Yeah, we're gonna text after this saying like we should set up a TikTok.
Absolutely. Yeah, get a couple of your clips and post them up. But yeah, it's mostly just Instagram. You can get to me my email if you guys have any tattoo questions. Please don't DM me, because it's just not enough time in the world to be able to do my job and to answer questions. So I delegated that to my assistant, Amy. She'll be able to take care of any questions or whatever you need. Just, email her. But yeah, if you just want to connect with me, Instagram's the best.
Bow. For Trav, is there anything you want to get off before we close this bad boy out?
Nah, I think I'm good on my end, and we like you said, you're welcome to come back, and we love this conversation.
Yeah, absolutely. I would love to be back. So yeah,
David, it was a pleasure to have you. That has been yet another amazing session from Dragon Ball for Life within the segment that we like to call Dragon Call. David answered the Dragon Call he was on. We are going to continue to do a whole bunch of these, and we're definitely going to have him back. But y'all know how we do. Every week when we come and we bring y'all the amazing content, the range, if you will, from Mr. Porter Matty Ice and Troto Trav himself, Super Saiyan Smith. But like we always say here at Dragon Ball for Life, whether you watch it or you read it, we all need it. So follow your fandom right back here, and we will see you next time on Dragon Ball for Life. Dodon Ray. Shout out to super producer Mikey.
And shout out to Yali.
Bitch.
Facts.